One man, one mission, to rid the world of chronic anxiety once and for all. The Anxiety Guy, Dennis Simsek, shares his personal transformation from living a life filled with overwhelming worry to becoming a full-fledged positivity machine, a leading authority in generalized anxiety. Dennis gets to the truth of your mental health challenges and sets you on a path to transforming each and every area of your life. Here he is, the one and only, the Anxiety Guy.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Anxiety Guy podcast. I'm Dennis Simsek. I will be your host today, and I would really recommend that you guys subscribe to this podcast if you're watching it on YouTube or if you're listening on iTunes, so that you can get all the updates every Monday on this podcast. As well, make sure to head over to Facebook, guys, and like that page, because that's where you're going to find all the tools, all the practical tools, the suggestions, the inspiration you need to overcome your anxiety naturally. As well, I'm doing one-on-ones now, cognitive behavioral therapy, and now going into this whole new journey of NLP. And I'm using those tools to transform people on a daily basis. And I want to thank you if you've already started working with me, guys. And you guys can find that information through anxietyexit.com. Now, today we are answering a question. Okay, this question I got from Facebook. I'm not going to mention the name, but it's a long question, so I'm just going to try to narrow it down. I'm going to try my best to answer this question here in specifically as I can, and I'm also going to go through a couple of principles, a couple of rules or laws that are connected to why sufferers continue to suffer, okay? And these are going to be quite powerful, and I really like if you guys had a pen and paper and wrote down some of these principles, because they're key. You need to understand them. You want change to happen. You are the small percentage, by the way, that don't sit around, that don't rush around looking for answers, that don't constantly do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. You're listening to this podcast because you have decided that you want change to happen, and you are dedicated and determined to make that change happen, right? Okay, so the question was, Dennis, I've been suffering from health anxiety since my son was born 4 years ago. I am terrified of death or illness, guessing it's the thought of not being here for him. I used to be feisty and full of ambition. Now I just want to stay at home, and I'm not much fun. I focus on heart palpitations, dizziness, aches and pains. I cannot focus on my son like I want to. And she goes on to say that she is scared of medications and side effects. And the question is, how and where do I start to battle this before it ruins my marriage and my entire life? Now, let's pick out a couple things from this question, guys. Now, let's look at the wording, okay? Now, words are extremely powerful, okay? That's something that you don't, not you, but I truly did not get for a long time. In the morning when I woke up and I went to work, I wasn't even aware of the words that were coming out of my mouth. It was unconscious. It was this conditioning that I've been under for so many years, right? I had to be perfect, right? Perfectionist. And if it wasn't perfect, then it was bad. I looked at the world as white or black. Not many options, not many different paths I could take. So the wording that she uses in this message, I know deep down that this is the type of wording that she uses on a daily basis. Now, words are powerful. What you present to the world and what you present to your unconscious mind will give you more of. It will grow in strength. So let's go over it. I have been suffering from health anxiety since my son was born. I am terrified, of death or illness. I used to be feisty and full of ambition. So back in the day, she's kind of reliving those times where she was free from anxiety. Now, I just want to stay at home, and I am not much fun. So there you go. That's an identity issue right there. She sees herself as a stay-at-home person, and she views herself, her identity is someone that does not have much fun. So listen to the words. I am scared of medication and side effects. I am scared of medications and side effects. Where do I start to battle this before it ruins my marriage and life? And it's 4 years has been too long. Doctors only push medications down. I have tried local counseling, she says, and they only tell me things I already know. Wow, they only tell me things I already know. Guys, there's a huge difference. Now, this might be you, it might not be. Okay, so kind of look at the habits that you're listening to right now or viewing on YouTube. She's talking about going to counseling and hearing things she already knows but hasn't put them into practice because she hasn't gotten to the point of what's called no return. I like to call it no return, a place where you are totally fed up with your life, you're fed up with your conditioning, you're fed up with the patterns that are running your life. And understand this one crucial thing: nobody will change until they've suffered enough. Nobody will change until they've suffered enough. So this lady is at the point that she's at the point where she's had enough. As you can see from this letter, from this question, she's had enough. Okay, she's gotten to the point of no return. But the one thing she hasn't done is she hasn't had a talk with herself. She hasn't had a talk with herself, and she hasn't become specific enough so that her mind can guide her in the direction she needs to go. Now, as you can see, she's a little bit of a closed-minded person. She goes to counseling, and she knows everything the counselor is telling her, but hasn't used any of the tools. She's not open-minded to those suggestions, therefore she's not going to change. Right? So your GPS in your mind can't guide you until you've made clear of your destination. Okay, if you say, I want to live an anxiety-free life so I can be happy, that's too general, right? You need to be very specific as far as every aspect. And what I did, guys, when I started this process, before I went to counseling, before I started the program, before I did one-on-ones through CBT mentors and such that I had, is I had a talk with myself, and I went through all the aspects of my life. I went through relationships, my career, my leisure time, my education, my family life, my self-development. Do this. Rate each and every aspect of your life out of 10 and really notice what parts are bad, decent, good, great, whatever it may be, and what parts need work. What direction do you want to take? And vision boards are great for this. We have a 21-day mental clarity challenge on YouTube. I hope you've already started that. But you need to get specific. You need to go, you know what, my relationships are a 3 out of 10. I don't keep up with people that are positive and inspirational. I always go towards people that keep me down in my life. I don't keep in contact with the people that are going to lift me up. Okay, so my relationships need work. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. My self-development, those things I was interested in throughout my entire life, I'm not really taking action towards fulfilling some of those goals and dreams I have for my life. So I'm going to give that about a 2 out of 10. But my career is going great. It's a 7 or 8, right? And what am I doing in my career that is really good, that is progressing nicely? So you start to become more specific in different aspects of your life. You start to rate each and every one, and that will give you a clearer picture as to where you need to go. Remember, your GPS in your mind can't guide you until you've made clear your destination, okay? So that's where the starting point is, guys. That's where the starting point is. And she goes on, and we're just talking about I have tried local counseling, and they don't seem to tell me more than I already know. Okay, so doctors push meds down my throat, and she doesn't believe in medications. Again, we're going through this question here. So she labeled herself as a stay-at-home person, and she's not fun, and she focuses on her heart palpitations and everything else on a daily basis, and she can't seem to turn her focus from anywhere towards anything else. what we need to truly understand, guys, is that there are two different people out there. There's the one type of person that listens to this podcast and then goes about their day and expects change to happen, or listens to the YouTube channel videos and sees a video and expects change to happen. When it doesn't happen, they don't believe that that teacher is a good teacher. Okay, so remember what the mind does, right? The mind always does three different things. The mind either generalizes, it distorts the situation, or it deletes. Okay, so it generalizes, distorts, or deletes. It generalizes a certain experience. You may have run into someone who's from India and is extremely rude, and therefore when that person is rude, you generalize and say the whole population of India is rude. It distorts, so it modifies and it changes certain ideas or beliefs, experiences, right? So it changes it, distorts it, depending on our past experiences, right? Or it deletes. It deletes certain things out of our mind. Okay, so the mind always does one of those three things. Now, understand that when I work with someone one-on-one, I turn a lot of people away. I say, you know what? In the first 5 minutes, I know if change will happen or not. Okay, and I am part of the solution. Okay, and counselors and CBT and NLP practitioners, life coaches are part of the solution. They'll give you the tools, they'll mentor you, they'll show you different ways to get what you want. Okay, by the way, I think NLP CBT is the best for anxiety. But the other part is you. Okay, the other part is you, and the idea of you getting to the point of no return, having that talk with yourself and going, you know what, I'm not going to accept this as my identity anymore. Once you accept something as an identity, it will remain until you've replaced it with a new identity. And that's crucial. A smoker will always be a smoker unless he views himself differently, unless he changes that unless he replaces that identity. Okay, so a smoker who's always trying these different techniques and plans and programs and such and patches that think it's going to help. It may temporarily help, but he's always going to fall back into those same rituals, those same habits, as long as he thinks his identity is a smoker. He is what he thinks he is. Okay, so make sure that you understand what type of person you are. Are you the type that reads a book or reads a couple chapters, puts the book away, goes to Chapters or another bookstore and grabs another book, hoping that will change, read a couple pages, put that book away, never look at it again, and the cycle continues? You go on YouTube, you watch a video halfway or fully if you're lucky, and then doesn't get anything out of it. Guys, you need to study these things. You need to be educated in these things. You need to understand the idea of how our nervous system works, how our conditioning works, how our programming works, how our belief systems work, the patterns that you constantly run in your head. These are some things that you guys need to truly understand. And once you accept the idea that you have different options, life isn't just black and white. You've got options, but those options only become clear to you when you start to educate yourself, when you start to become more open-minded, when you start to give things a chance, right? And not just a day or two. You go a couple months learning about CBT, then watch how your life changes. Go take one-on-ones with someone for 3-4 months and then see how everything changes. After you've had your self-talk, your self-development speech to yourself, if you're ready or not for change. Now, these principles, guys, are huge. And when dealing with the subconscious mind and its functions, the greater the conscious effort, the less the unconscious responds, right? And a lot of people try so hard, right? They try so hard. And this is another thing and we need to dive into this. People go, well, I'm trying. I really am trying. There's a lady I know. I talk to her through email all the time, and she goes, I'm trying so hard every single day to change my life, to change my belief system, to be really conscious of everything. And I tell her that, you know what, if you try too hard, you shut off your unconscious access, and your conscious mind tries to run the show. And when your conscious mind tries to run the show, everything goes down the drain, right? So this is a principle that you truly need to understand, and this is why trying harder is a bad strategy for many people. What you need to do is develop this kind of positive mental expectancy that your problem can and will be resolved, right? Your problem can and will be resolved. So they're trying, but they haven't really connected the dots yet, and they don't expect change to happen. They hope change happens. They live in a world of hope, right? And you need to really develop that positive mental expectancy that your problem can and will be resolved. Nobody can create a change except you. You've gotten to this point. Take responsibility for your life at this moment. It wasn't until I did that, guys, that change started to happen. When I truly got to the point and I said, whoa, that person wasn't the reason that I have health anxiety. It's not the doctors. It's not the medications. It's not this or that. It's me. I've put myself through this. I, on a daily basis, watched too much TV. I was the one hanging around the people that I shouldn't have been hanging around, the toxic people. I was the one not educating myself on how mental health runs. You know, every day we talk about, oh, let's make our physical body stronger. Oh, let's eat better. You know, let's do all these things. Sure, those things help, right? But if you're running the same conditioning, the same belief patterns, the same cycle over and over again, it doesn't matter how many vegetables you eat on a daily basis, nothing's going to change. It doesn't matter how many marathons you run, nothing's going to change. You're still running the same, you're still a hamster on that wheel, still running, right? You may take a break for a while, but you're going to get right back on that wheel. So understand some of these principles, guys. Take full responsibility for your current condition. Understand that the worst thing you can do is play a victim to your circumstances. I'm in this situation because of X, Y, Z. My support team is not helping me. They're giving me bad advice, and it's not helping me, and that's what's keeping me in this cycle. No! You're the reason you're in this cycle. You're the reason, okay? This podcast isn't about sugarcoating anything. It's about telling you the truth. And nothing changes until you start telling yourself the truth. Go in front of the mirror. Tell yourself you're fat, right? Go in front of the mirror. Tell yourself that what is happening in your life right now is not acceptable. That person, that kid you were years ago, with those big goals and big dreams for your life, right? Just remember that kid, that free-flowing kid who took life really easily, didn't make life complicated, didn't make it so, black and white, right? That kid had so many options. That kid went for what he thought he could achieve on those monkey bars back in the day, down that slide back in the day. And if you can just take a little piece of who you used to be as a kid, just a small piece of who you used to be as a kid, you're going to find that everything starts to become easier, right? We talk about this monster that is anxiety, right? And how we turn a monster into a fly, right? One of the ways we do it is we look at life as not this, this thing that we must be perfect in every single way. The perfect mom, the perfect driver, the perfect cook, the perfect father, mother, whatever it may be, and we start to add some playfulness to our lives. We start to say, you know what, it's okay for me to be this way. It's okay for me to let go of these certain worries and belief systems that I currently have that's driving my physical world, right? So guys, in conclusion, understand the three filters we have that that surrounds our current belief systems, right? We delete, we distort, and we generalize. We do those three things constantly, right? And take a good look at what things you're deleting, what things you're distorting as in your physical symptoms of anxiety, right? And understand how you're generalizing. And when you generalize, a lot of people fall into the trap of social anxiety where they generalize a certain event or a situation where, if there's more than 3 or 4 people around, automatically I'm going to fall back into the state that I used to be. People are rude if there are more than 3 people. Guys, it's all about conditioning. It really is. You've been conditioned this way, and you can work towards breaking those chains, breaking those habits that you have, taking in. So that's it. That's it for today. And guys, I really hope I have touched on a couple of important ways of looking at the world in a different way, and some certain ways where you can start to recover from health anxiety naturally, right? And these principles that we've gone over today, I suggest that you write them down. I suggest you download this episode and listen to it a number of times. I also suggest that you check in with me. If you don't check in with someone, a mentor, someone that you want to get the same results as they have, things don't change. So I suggest you go on YouTube, check out one of the videos, and in the comment section, let me know how things are progressing and how things are changing in your life, right? Comment, and I will make sure 100% that I will respond. That I will guarantee. So check in with me, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. One-on-ones at anxietyexit.com are currently underway. And I'll see you guys really, really soon. Remember that you're more than anxiety. You are more than anxiety. See you guys soon.